Yeah, g'day, Jump Bunny here. I read a news article about a week ago that kind of got me going, and I tried to record some thoughts about it this morning, and I crashed and burned a bit because it's made me kind of really annoyed. It's a news article associated with a productivity commission which is happening next week in Australia. Two professors at universities of UTS in Sydney and Melbourne University in Victoria have decided to use the Productivity Commission as an opportunity to float a taxation raising idea called imputed rent. What it means in summary, and it's associated with the idea of unrealised capital gains as well, but so what it means that if you have a mortgage or own a property, what their idea is to make things fairer, which is part of why I've got a problem with it. There's two reasons I've got a problem with this. If you own a property or have a mortgage on a property and you're living in your principal place of residence, you and your family, you obviously don't pay yourself rent, right? You've used the income that you've earned from after-tax dollars. You already paid income tax to pay for the mortgage or fundamentally pay it off somehow. These professors said what should happen is that we should impute, which means to make up, infer, a weekly rent that you are getting for free. It wasn't free when I paid the mortgage off, and that should be counted as income on your income tax assessment and taxed. Wow. This so-called idea relates to a fairer distribution of income from the people who have access to a property and those who don't. Now, if you think about this carefully, or not even carefully, there are various terms for income redistribution, welfare state, social justice. Another word that springs to mind is communism. Socialism, communism, varying degrees of control by central authorities, right? For me, this idea takes the biscuit in terms of the long-suffering Australian taxpayer. Income tax, capital gains tax, fuel excise tax, GST, goods and services tax. How many taxes can one country sustain? The two ideas at work here in very basic terms are that somehow, if you have a house, however you got it, through hard work, like me, I received no inheritance of any sort. Even if you got inheritance, right, an accident of birth, whatever you want to call it. Oh, well, somehow that's unfair. So let's say, and this is me, I started off work, had nothing, right? Saved, worked hard, got my foot on the property ladder, and then went from there. I didn't, as I explained in another video, I moved between properties quite frequently. Firstly, accidentally. Secondarily, I started doing it on purpose. This is related to ideas of if you sell your principal place of residence, that you don't pay capital gains tax. That idea was floated as well as part of this productivity commission, and they said no government will go there for obvious reasons. It beggars belief that these academics would say, for the people, now in broad terms in Australia, 2 out of 3 people either own their own home or have a mortgage, and a third of people are renting. It's a property game, right? The actual cause of this property game, as they've said, housing crisis, cost of living crisis, inability to construct sufficient homes, high immigration levels, particularly international students. 500,000 net new people in Australia year on year. Inability to roll out infrastructure quickly or at all. Red tape, bureaucracy. 3 layers of government as well. That's got a lot to do with it. Local government, state government, federal government. They don't coordinate that well between themselves. If this got up and I'm living in a home that I paid for with after-tax dollars, why should I have to have a rent that's imputed and pay tax on that as well? On what planet is that idea of penalising achievement even valid? This is why I say it's either extremely socialist or communist. The government, the Labor government, absolutely very, very left. Growing the government sector, productivity's down, all this kind of stuff, right? You read in the press. Cost of living's definitely up. I was reading another article and it's like in the Fin Review, so it's a bit warped, but some higher end restaurants are charging $75 for a plate of spaghetti. Like, well, I don't go to high end restaurants, so it doesn't bother me. But you see it, like down the road from me, there was a burger joint, bit upmarket. I was kept driving past. I thought, I'll stop in and get one. There's a lot of burger joints around. I just go to my old school fish and chips if I want a burger, so I didn't go in. They lasted 6 months. They're charging $20 for a burger, so people aren't paying that. Imputed rent. There is, as a citizen of a country, there is a social contract that they shouldn't screw your ass to the floor. That's shorthand. You pay taxes everywhere. The state government provides, the fireys, the ambos, the police, keep you safe. This idea is not safe. The old phrase, safe as houses. If I own a car, outright. Should I pay a lease payment so it can be taxed? I've already owned it, I've already paid. This logic of imputed rent, I've already paid for the house with after-tax dollars. They want me to pay in perpetuity. It's what's called a Robin Hood economic strategy. Steal from the rich, give to the poor. Oh, is it fair? Why is that fair? Like I said, I didn't inherit any money. Every cent that's gone into the purchase of this property was paid for with after-tax dollars. The other thing that's at play here is that in Australia, as I said, I think we have a very weak national identity. It's not unified. In Thailand, it seems to me as an outsider, very unified. What's at play here is a division to say if you own property, you are rich, and we're going to impute a rent and add that to your income tax bill. If you're retired and don't earn an income from a job, maybe you won't pay much tax. I don't understand on what planet this is a valid suggestion for improving the productivity of a country. More tax for people who have already purchased a property from after-tax dollars. It just shows me that if that idea gets up, this country's lost the plot. And that would be a really valid reason to reconsider disposing of the family home, the principal place of residence, and going to the land of smalls. Hope that was interesting. See you on the next one.